Welcome to Everyday Money Matters on Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. My name is Adu, and it's a lovely, lovely Wednesday morning, quite a rainy one, and you're listening to Everyday Money Matters, brought to you in partnership with our friends at Nairametrics. And talking about Nairametrics today, I am joined by our finance man and one who is very adept in the area of crypto market and cryptocurrency. Talking about none other than Mr. Olumide Adeshina. Can you hear me, Olumide? Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Adu. It's a super Wednesday. Big things happening in the market today.
I know, big things happening, and of course, I'm sure you'll help us to make sense of it all, as usual. You can join the conversation. WhatsApp is 0809-234-5913. That's the WhatsApp number to use to join us and send in your questions so that Olumide can, answer them as the show progresses. Also, I have in the building Loretta. Loretta Egba, can you hear me, Loretta?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Loretta. Good to have you here, join the show as well. And I have quite a number of questions here, so I'll try to be quick. And in some cases, I might combine the questions if I see that they're similar and they have the same line of thought. Question here: why is the CBN so determined to maintain a fixed exchange rate system? Wouldn't it be better if they just float the Naira?
Okay, let me take that question. Good morning, guys. First of all, we need to understand that we have a peculiar market, and our market liquidity is not as efficient as what you see in other markets. You understand that the rules of efficient markets is that you must have readily buyers and sellers, and the volume of transactions at any time must be met. But you understand that a country that has over 200 million people with partly about $34 billion in foreign reserves, and the fact that we basically import almost everything, at one point, liquidity becomes a problem. And definitely what the Apex Bank did was trying to find how best to fix their monetary tools in such a way that we will not be in trouble. And that's why we are seeing what we are seeing. So first of all, we import almost everything. So you can't allow the Apex Bank to open the doors for that kind of system. Secondly, we don't really have strong foreign earnings. Despite the fact that we are the leading oil producer, Nigeria is relatively unproductive. Many Nigerians don't generate dollar terms. So I think that's another reason. Then the final one is that we need to understand that the exchange, the fixed exchange rate system has saved the Naira against, when you look according to its peers, compare it with other countries that practice flexible exchange rate system. In Nigeria's category, their currency has suffered. So what does that tell you? It tells you that speculators had strong holding on flexible rates in terms of weaker economies than when you have fixed rates. So that's really what's happening right now. Yeah.
We can't hear you.
Is in place. I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. What did you say?
Okay, I said another question coming through is from Aboki FX. This person is asking, says, why is the CBN after Aboki FX? Are they the reason behind the fall of the Naira?
Okay. Systemically, you say they're not partly responsible, but they contribute to what we call panic. You see, in financial sector, information is driven by greed, fear, and sentiment. So the fact that the black market is even an illegal market is not something that should be exposed. Then you also need to understand that financial, it wasn't regulated. If you want to get in currency rates, I as a financial professional, I usually use the Bloomberg terminal, or I use the XE, or I use other regularized channels. So the Apex Bank, in its own wisdom, felt that they were already causing enough systemic risk, because see, a lot of Nigerians use that Aboki FX for gauging rates. They hardly know what the bank rate is telling. So I think it was a smart move at the right time. No system will allow anybody to profit from its own system. So Nigeria should not see it as a personal attack. What the regulators are trying to do is protect the financial system from panic, and they saw Aboki FX becoming systemically important.
But the reality is, the Aboki FX is still, for many people, the first point of call to get dollars, because many of them, in many instances, are unable to get it from their bank.
Yeah, but the reality is also that it's not regulated. You see, financial systems are governed by laws. So when we don't have regulation, then you become illegal. So no matter how cosmetic it looks like, the fact is that they are illegal. They have no business to operate on the system. And see, black market, if you understand the meaning of black market is illegal. In the United States, for example, the black market is hidden. In fact, once the FBI see you participating in the black market, they get you arrested. And that's why we see the dark web. A lot of criminals go there to do their transaction, because most times in the black market, illegality happens. Yes, I'm not saying Nigerians are using the black market for legalities, but that's what the rules in black market state. So the law is that what they're doing is wrong. So that's really what happened.
Well, let me chip in here as well. Beyond like the systematic risks, there are speculations that Aboki FX itself is practicing some illegalities, on one hand. And it's not their fault, in the sense that Aboki FX is not the first company to publish rates. There are so many companies that publish rates. However, they're just like, they have happened to be the most preferred one over time. So now there are different questions. How do they find their rates? Do they determine their rates? How many malams do they ask? Do they have a sheet? Like there are different things that the CBN is looking at, in the sense of, first off, whoever is publishing these rates, if for any reason there are some illegalities in publishing that rate, meaning you are not actually asking malams, and then you are, because you have access to the to the market, people are checking rates on your platforms, and then you are manipulating the figures, which, as wild as it seems, is kind of possible. Then yes, but I don't think the challenge is from publishing rates in the first place, because hey, the CBN cannot, the banks cannot give you the amount of dollars you need. So that's why you are going to the parallel markets in the first place. And then before you go to the parallel market, you kind of need to know how much it costs, how much are malam selling at. So it's not as if they are fundamentally doing something wrong, because they are actually indeed solving a challenge. It is that, are there things that we don't know that could be happening? And that is left for Aboki FX to prove otherwise.
Okay. We have a question here about the Naira. Since we're talking about the CBN and its initiatives, this person is asking from one of our participants here on the virtual platform. Says, "Good morning, Money Team. I heard about the Naira. What is your take on this? And do you reckon it will be traded on blockchain platforms?"
First of all, it's going to be traded on the blockchain, but this is a centralized blockchain. Don't expect to trade on the Ethereum or on the Bitcoin blockchain. So basically, when I say centralized, it means that there's going to be a central authority. It's going to run on the Hyperledger blockchain. This is a kind of blockchain developed by the Linux Foundation, and the idea about it is just to give the monetary stakeholders some form of control. Yes, the Naira is something we are bullish about, most especially because it exclusively has almost the same fundamentals you see in many crypto assets. It's just that in this case, it's rather not for store values, more for transactions, and the fact that it's going to boost efficiency and increase financial inclusion. So I think growing amount of Nigerians should key into this project. It's a legal tender by law, so it means that every business and individuals must accept it compulsorily. So there's no problem about that. So I think we should support it. I think we should give it a try. And I think that because we are one of the front runners, if this thing is successful, trust me, I do. Nigeria will be a big player in this industry, because I think when you look at big countries, Nigeria is one of the front runners in this thing, and we are just a couple of days away from it. So, like, guys, when it's October 1st, try and give this thing support. Let's see how it works. But it's simple. It's just going to boost all the transaction costs a lot of Nigerians complain about that you see from your traditional channels. Basically, it's going to wipe out, and it's going to you'll be able to access a lot of funds from the Apex Bank more easily because it has a direct impact, more direct impact than cash.
Okay, let's stay with the Apex Bank for a little bit now. Another question coming through is this person saying, should the CBN have increased MPR rates to attract more foreign investors? Our yields are relatively low compared to other frontier markets.
Very good question. Very good question. You know, like we spoke last week, I expected rates to remain unchanged, and it was just for simple reason, because the market needed liquidity. And don't forget that COVID-19 is still proving headache in big markets, especially Nigeria's important market like India, where they basically buy most of our oil. So what the Apex Bank did in his wisdom is that at some point he wanted more creditors to allow funds to go to other channels. So that's wise. But people will say that increasing rates will definitely strengthen the Naira, but you need to understand the opportunity cost behind that. And the fact that you understand that we still have some form of liquidity issues in our sectors, businesses, because trust me, a lot of businesses are still struggling aftermath of COVID-19. So it was really a very smart move that the rates will change. But I'm thinking to say that the Apex Bank, after their last meeting, some of the key stakeholders, based on reports I've seen, are already becoming hawkish. So at some point, rates will change, but I don't see it this year. I think we'll start looking at it Q1 next year. But I think it was really a smart move to allow liquidity to be the front runner, so our creditors can allow people to have access to funds, at a very encouraging rate.
Loretta.
Yeah, when we had this conversation last week, Olumide said, they'll probably hold it, which was correct at the end of the day. And I was like, since the economy has performed more than we expected it to perform, like following, after the impact of COVID-19, things are not as bad as we had predicted, then I felt it was a good time to start increasing rates because of investments. But at the end of the day, it's really not as straightforward, just as Olumide has said. There are different elements in place. And sometimes when you try to help one side, you are creating problems in another side. We saw what happened with treasury bills, just a few months ago. So it's pretty dicey, although I would have been on the side of just increase it and let's, we need investments at the end of the day. We need people to stake their cash. And this is another way to get the economy moving, on a different level again. But soon enough, I'm sure it will come to be, yeah.
Okay, so Loretta, one more question before we take a short break. Is this a good time, this person is asking, to convert my Naira to dollars?
Personally, I would say no. I would say no, because the Naira, you are watching the free fall of the Naira. You are literally watching it crash. So I don't know why you want to now go and convert your Naira and then put it at 550 when everybody is trying to do everything they can to, to reduce the amount. So no, I don't think it's a good time. I think we should wait out the market and see how all of these things coming in. Probably the loan, the loan, whether we're going to get more influx of dollars, and maybe that's to reduce the rates for us, and all of that. But right now, there's so much messiness going on for you to convert that.
And let me just add to that, Adu. I think it's unwise for Nigerians to buy at the black market. Just like what my colleague was saying, I think the risk she's talking about is the black market. If you look at official channels, the Naira hasn't crashed. So I think if you are buying at the black market, you are buying at more than 30% a premium when you look at the official rate. And I don't think that is wisdom. And you also need to understand that liquidity is already coming. If you see the Nigerian eurobond, about 4 billion is coming to the coffers of the Apex Bank. And also, we're expecting almost another 4 billion from international organizations. So that means that in the next couple of quarters, about 10 billion would boost Nigeria's Apex Bank. So that would definitely boost more liquidity, and definitely speculators will be caught on the sideline. So speculating on the Naira and the black market is not a smart move. If you want to earn dollars, there are better channels you can do this. Get a skilled job or invest in dollar assets. That's much wiser, because you need to understand the percentage, the cost you are paying. The cost you are paying to get the dollar at the black market is not really wise. Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk more about the eurobond when we come back from this. Don't touch the dial.
Hey there, do you want to build wealth and financial stability? Well, investing is what will get you there. Yes, saving is no longer enough. You can now preserve and grow your wealth by choosing an investment plan that suits your needs in the long run. By investing the right way, you can secure your children's education, have a secure retirement plan, and enjoy the ultimate peace of mind. Wondering how you can get started? Standard Chartered Bank has a wide range of investment options, ranging from federal government bonds, treasury bills, and so much more, all accessible from your SC mobile app. Don't have our app? Download from your mobile app store today to access investment opportunities. Start now and secure your family's future. For more information, please send an email to callcenter.nigeria@sc.com or call our call center on 01-270-4611 or toll free on 0800-123-5000. Standard Chartered Bank, here for good.
Welcome back to the show. It's Everyday Money Matters, and you're listening to Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. I have our friends from Nairametrics joining me live via Zoom on this Wednesday morning. I've been talking about different questions that have been posed to us by you, the listeners. And before the break, Olumide, you began talking about the Eurobond. Someone had actually asked how the Eurobond is going to help return some FX inflow into the country, and would it stabilize the Naira? I think it might be, worthy of note to just shed a little bit more light in that regard.
Okay. Yeah, thanks again. I highlighted that previously when I was talking about the exchange. Definitely it will give some form of stability, and it means that the Apex Bank has more ammunition to directly interfere in the market. So that really harm speculators as expected. But you see, another positivity around this, it just tells you the credibility about Nigerian financial system, that despite the fact we have challenges, investors are still believing that the system would really survive. So because for us to get that amount of money in a time where we are seeing contagious in different markets, and also the fact that a lot of cash is going to emerge market based on opportunities in that sector, it tells you that investors are seeing positivity around the Nigerian economy. So I think for an average Nigerian, I think this just tells you that there are a lot of good signs in the country. But what is left now is proper utilization, because that's one of the things, but that's a fiscal issue. Proper utilization of resources still remains a challenge in the Nigerian economy. The financial system has one of the brightest people on planet Earth, and has produced one of the most powerful entities. When you look at our banks, relative of 3 decades, they are amidst the top 500 in Africa and Asia. That tells you that these guys have really done a good job. But we still have a lot of problems to work on, and I think this Eurobond tells us that we can move mountains if we get our things act together. So it's a very good one for us to in the short term, but we still have long-term problems. That's just painful truth, I do.
Okay, Loretta, this person is asking, I'm 20 years old and I have 1 million Naira gifted to me that I want to invest. I'm stuck in between investing in crypto and stocks. Can you enlighten me on the difference between both assets and where you think I should pitch my tent?
Okay, first, in terms of enlightening you on both, for stocks, quite simply, you are buying into different companies. So so if you invest in, let's say, Zenith Bank, for example, you are saying that if their share price increases, you're going to make more money. And so if they do well, you do well as well. Yeah, so basically. And for cryptos, you are entering a world of technology, blockchain, decentralization, security, all of that. It's a completely different ballgame. But just to answer the main question, which is you have 20 million Naira and you don't know which one
No,
to
1
invest.
million Naira.
Oh, 1 million Naira. Okay, even at 1 million Naira, whatever amount you're investing in, it is never a case of one asset class versus another. It's a case of spreading your cash based on your investment mandate, based on your risk threshold, based on your age. At 20 years, you can take risks. But even if you're taking so much risk, there's no reason investing more than 10% of that in cryptocurrency, because you could lose all of your money as much as you could multiply that 10%, which is 100,000 Naira. So I would advise that a percentage should go into stocks, a percentage should go into crypto. And just so you don't end up losing all of your cash, particularly if you have plans for that money at any point in the near future, invest in, or at least some kind of low yield assets. So something small that if you will need to convert to cash in a short period of time. So maybe treasury bills, maybe some mutual funds that invest in low risk assets and all of that. Just if you need the money. If you don't need the money, then you can take more long-term positions. However, you need to spread that portfolio. You might need some investment advice, but at 1 million, you probably cannot pay for so much. So I would just advise that you should follow, Nairametrics articles to see the stocks they select. There are also analysis of different cryptocurrencies and how they've been performing, so you can know when it's a good time to buy and all of that. Yeah.
Thank you, Loretta. Another person is asking here, I'm going to combine these two questions. First question is, do you think investment in the federal government's infraco company will give good returns? That's the first part. And as we approach the last quarter of the year, what are the asset classes that you are bullish on?
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. So I'll be very brief because of time. But see, the honest is that you need to understand that when investing in federal government assets will not give you the kind of returns you expect in crypto market or certain bank stocks or whatever assets you think seems very interesting. But one of the advantages of investing in federal government assets is that the risk of default is quite lower. So you need to, just like Loretta said, you need to diversify and open your exposure in such assets. So it gives you a kind of a soft landing in terms of risk. And well, in returns, I won't really be telling you like that you get alarming rates. So you get the same gains, but not what you see in other assets. Now, the last quarter, the most interesting stocks a lot of Nigerians are ignoring is Nigerian banks. Now, I mentioned earlier, if you look at it compared to, if you look at the price earnings to its earnings, you need to see that Nigerian banks are one of the cheapest in Africa. And I told you earlier that if you look at UBA, for example, the price of a sachet of pure water is more expensive than UBA shares. So Nigerians don't have any excuse not to buy this kind of companies, because I'll tell you some positivity. At one point, interest rates will go up in Nigeria. And you see, just like a lot of people complain that it seems that the Apex Bank has unchanged rates for about 6 times. By the time rates start going up, bank shares will start going up. And that's because they will have more opportunity to earn, because banks earn when rates are high. Yields go up when rates are high. So just like Loretta said, that it will attract more investment and stuff. So I think it's time for Nigerians to watch less Big Brother Nigeria, focus more on assets that will give you value, spend time. This is the time you need to spend on yourself, because next year is going to be amazing. The fact that you saw a disruption in COVID-19, this is time you empower yourself intellectually. Try and take 1 or 2 courses. If you are not really on the educated side, try and learn skills, because see, next year we're seeing growing flows of people earning in dollar terms, because now what is winning right now, freelancers job, there's this borderless transactions we are seeing at record pace. The crypto market just revealed that, if you look at year to year alone, Africa moved more than $150 billion worth of crypto, and Nigeria partly contributed to about 1/4. So it means that growing amount of Nigerians are earning dollars quietly. So I think it's wise for us to realize that we should take time and we should make it while the sun, while time is set now. So the last quarter, definitely banking stocks for me is my big bet. Yeah.
Loretta, are you pitching a tent with Olumide as well?
Just for the second part of the question. Now, when you say what stocks are going to do well in the last quarter, is it so you can, make a quick entry and then they'll do well and then you make an exit, or do you want to wait the long term? But I would say aside banking stocks, just so I don't drag that part of the conversation, aside banking stocks, consumer goods typically also tend to do well because more people are, buying stuff. So you might check fast-moving consumer goods and see, if they work. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Loretta. Thank you, Olumide. Just to remind our listeners that, because of time constraint, all questions may not be attended to, but there's a better option where you can subscribe to the Stock Select newsletter and you get hands-on, more in-depth analysis of the stock market. You get to know what to buy, hold, sell, what's going on, the peaks, the highs, and to ride the wave. All of these in-depth mentorship comes when you subscribe to what is called a Stock Select newsletter that is prepared by Nairametrics. So Ugodre and the rest of the team will specifically write this and prepare this just for you when you subscribe, and it will come, I think, bi-monthly, by twice a month, and you get this in-depth analysis. So if you want to be a part of the mailing list, you want to subscribe to it and have some form of a grasp on the market, go to ssn.nairametrics.com, ssn.nairametrics.com to subscribe to this and be a part of this Stock Select newsletter. Of course, you can watch this video and this program again if you go to YouTube and check out Nairametrics. Olumide and Loretta, do enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.